Hello everyone, welcome back to JiKook Diaries channel. Not all mood swings are obvious. Sometimes they come in small pauses, a lingering look, and a single hug that feels different than usual. In episode 8 of season 2, JiKook doesn't say anything directly. But as Jungkook and Jimin approach each other, the mood shifts, and the hug seems to reveal everything. In episode 8 season 2, something feels different from the very first second. It's not because of any striking dialogue, nor is it because of a deliberately dramatic scene. The change is subtle, almost unspoken, but that's precisely what makes the atmosphere feel more powerful than usual. JiKook doesn't need to explain anything, because their moods already speak for themselves. And to anyone paying close attention, the change is palpable. First, the atmosphere seems light. Jungkook appears with a relaxed expression, a familiar small smile, the energy he usually carries wherever he goes. Jimin, too, is present in his own way, full of a subtle warmth and attention that often goes unnoticed by those unaccustomed to reading body language. But slowly, something shifts. There are pauses between laughs. There are longer than usual stares. There are moments when voices grow softer, and the emotional distance actually grows closer. JiKook's mood shift in this episode doesn't happen suddenly. It grew slowly, like the soundless approach of night. Jungkook, who often seemed cheerful and full of energy, began to show a calmer side. His gaze softened. His shoulders dropped slightly, as if he'd stopped holding something back. In moments like these, Jungkook wasn't an idol on stage. He was simply someone who felt safe to be himself. And in that moment, Jimin was always there. Without calling, without any grand gesture, Jimin approached. His way was very distinctive. No rush, no exaggeration, just a consistent presence. Jimin is the type of person who doesn't intrude on space, but fills it. He knows when to speak and when to remain silent. He knows when a touch speaks louder than words. And Jungkook, without hesitation, allowed himself to be in that space. The hug in this episode was no ordinary hug. It wasn't just a sweet gesture for the camera, not fan service designed to look romantic. It came at just the right moment, when the mood had shifted, when the emotions were no longer on the surface. Jungkook responded to the hug with complete honesty. It wasn't stiff, it wasn't fake. There was a complete acceptance there, as if his own body was saying, "I need it." That's where everything felt open. The way Jungkook leaned in, the way Jimin held him steadily and gently, the way neither of them was in a rush to let go. Time seemed to slow down. There were no exaggerated expressions, no dramatic reactions. It was precisely because of its simplicity that the moment felt so profound, like an unspoken secret, but fully understood by two people who had been through so much together. JiKook's mood completely shifted at that point, from lighthearted to warm, from relaxed to intimate, not in a loud romantic sense, but in a quiet, safe emotional sense. There was a trust that had been built over the years, and that hug was just one of the most honest expressions of that feeling. Jimin, in his gentle way, always knew how to reassure Jungkook without making him feel vulnerable. He didn't preach, he didn't control. He just existed. And Jungkook, usually the center of energy, allowed himself to lean in. It was no small feat for someone like Jungkook. Leaning in means trusting. And that trust was evident in this episode. What made this moment so powerful was the silence within it. No big words were spoken. No explicit statements. But their body language says it all. Jungkook's breathing becomes more even. Jimin adjusts his embrace. The way neither of them feels the need to explain anything to the outside world. This is what many armies often call the most real JiKook. Not the one who laughs loudly, not the one who jokes excessively, but the one who is silent and understanding. Episode 8 of Season 2 showcases that side very clearly. Their moods change not because of the situation, but because of the emotions that arise naturally. And when those emotions arise, they know where to return. That hug seemed to answer many unasked questions. About comfort, about closeness, about why JiKook always seems to find each other, even in a crowd. There's a bond that doesn't need to be declared, because it already lives within small habits, brief glances, and simple touches. For viewers who pay attention to detail, this episode feels like lifting a thin curtain that's usually closed. Not to reveal something new, but to confirm what's already been felt. That JiKook isn't just about viral moments, but about a consistent emotional connection. About two people who grew up together and learned to read each other silently.
역시 딸망이지. 딸망.
딸기랑 많고 접이 있어 원래?
있을 수도 있겠지.
As the episode ends, that feeling lingers. There's a warmth that lingers. There's a sense that we've just witnessed something intimate, even though it's unfolding on camera. And perhaps that's why this episode resonates so deeply, because it doesn't try to prove anything, but rather, with its honesty, it reveals everything. JiKook doesn't need to say that their moods have changed. We can feel it. We can see it in the way Jungkook relaxes in Jimin's arms. We can feel it in the way Jimin holds Jungkook as if to say, I'm here. And in a world full of noise, moments like that feel incredibly precious. Episode 8 of Season 2 isn't just about what's seen, but about what's felt. About emotional intimacy that doesn't need validation. About a hug that becomes home. And about JiKook, who proves once again that some of the most powerful stories are told without words. This episode reminds us that not everything needs a name to be felt. JiKook doesn't explain their mood swings, nor does he try to prove anything. They're simply being themselves, and that's where their honesty feels most powerful. Jungkook and Jimin's embrace in episode 8 of Season 2 isn't about a big moment or any claims. It's about comfort, trust, and an emotional connection that grows over time. About two people who know where to turn when the mood changes and the world feels too crowded. As viewers, we're only witnessing a small slice of their long journey. And perhaps that's what makes this moment so precious. Because it wasn't forced. It just happened naturally. And perhaps that is the quiet beauty of JiKook moments like this. They don't demand attention, yet they gently pull you in. The more you replay the scene, the more details begin to surface. A subtle tightening of fingers. A breath that sinks unconsciously. A pause that lasts just a second longer than expected. These are not things that can be scripted. They are instinctive, born from familiarity and emotional safety built over years. What stands out most is how natural it all feels. There is no hesitation in Jungkook's movement toward Jimin. No uncertainty in Jimin's response. It's as if their bodies already know what the other needs before their minds can catch up. This kind of connection doesn't come from constant closeness alone, but from understanding, knowing when to step forward, and when to simply stay still. In this episode, Jungkook doesn't need to be loud to be seen. His quiet presence speaks volumes. And Jimin doesn't need to reassure with words. His steady warmth does that for him. Together, they create a space that feels insulated from the outside world, even if just for a brief moment. A space where emotions are allowed to exist freely, without explanation or performance. Many viewers might miss it on a first watch, but for those who feel it, the moment lingers long after the screen fades. It settles somewhere deep, leaving behind a sense of calm and familiarity, almost like watching two people return to something safe after a long day. Something that feels like home. This is why episode 8 of Season 2 feels different. Not because it gives answers, but because it quietly affirms what has always been there. JiKook's bond isn't built on grand declarations. It's built on moments like this soft, genuine, and deeply human. And when the episode finally ends, you realize that nothing more needed to happen. The story was already told in the silence, in the embrace, and in the mood that changed without a single word being spoken. Sometimes that's more than enough. Thank you for watching and experiencing this moment with us. If you also feel JiKook's mood swings in this episode, please share your thoughts in the comments section calmly and respectfully. See you in the next episode, where silence often speaks louder than words.